Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to express my sincere thanks to New Zealand government for inviting me to speak at this APAC Economic Cooperation Symposium on 2021 priorities. It's my great pleasure to be part of this very important discussion. My topic today is green and sustainable finance, which is highly relevant to green recovery and climate action, the major themes of this symposium. Since the beginning of this year, China introduced a significant fiscal stimulus and countercyclical monetary policies to offset the negative impact of COVID-19 on the economy and on employment. As part of the stimulus package, there have been substantial investments, including from the public sector and the financial system, on green projects such as renewable energy, electric vehicles, electric vehicle charging stations, and green technologies. Our green financial system has played an important part in financing these projects. In the following few minutes, I'd like to give you a quick overview of China's green finance initiative domestically, as well as international collaborations in which China have actively participated. In terms of what China has done domestically, I would like to talk about the green finance guidelines, which were introduced in 2016 by 7 ministries led by the PBOC, or the Central Bank of China. These guidelines included the 35 actions, which can be classified into 4 pillars. Number 1, taxonomies. As of now, we have 3 sets of green taxonomies, including 1 on green lending, 1 on green bonds, and 1 on green projects. These taxonomies serve the purpose of preventing greenwashing. The second pillar is disclosure standards. Over the past few years, we moved gradually from voluntary to semi-compulsory to compulsory requirements for environmental information disclosure. By end of this year, our regulators will be introducing requirements for all listed companies and bond issuers to disclose environmental and climate information. Such requirements will enable financial institutions to assess which projects are green and which projects are not green. The third pillar is incentives, which are designed to enhance the return of green projects and attract more private capital participation. These incentives included the central bank's relending facility, which offers low-cost funding through commercial banks to green projects, as well as interest subsidies and guarantees for green projects offered by the Chinese local governments. The fourth pillar is a suite of green financial products, which now include 11 trillion RMB worth of outstanding green loans, over 1 trillion worth of RMB green bonds, and more than 700 green funds. Moving on to the topic of international collaboration. In 2016, when China was the presidency of G20, China and the UK co-chaired the G20 Green Finance Study Group, which facilitated the global consensus on scaling up green finance. In the following 2 years, the study group proposed a few more ideas, which include the need to promote environmental risk analysis among the financial institutions and application of digital technology to green finance. In 2017, 8 countries' central banks and supervisors came together and formed the NGFS, which is the Central Banks and Supervisors Network for greening the financial system. China was one of the 8 founding members of the NGFS. I had the pleasure to serve as the chairman of the supervision workstream of the NGFS, which recently published 2 important documents on environmental risk analysis by financial institutions, which include the detailed methodologies to quantify financial risks arising from their exposure to environmental and climate risks. In 2018, the Chinese Green Finance Committee, which I chair, and the City of London jointly launched the Green Investment Principles for the Belt and Road. These 7 principles called for global investors to better understand and manage environmental and social risks of their investments in the Belt and Road region, and to increase the investment in the green and low carbon sectors. As of now, 37 large global institutions, most of them are financial institutions, have signed up to these principles. And these institutions manage about $40 trillion in terms of total assets on the balance sheet. Under the Green Investment Principles, we set up 3 working groups. One is working on environmental impact, the second is working on disclosure, and third one is working on product innovation. Over the past 2 years, the membership of the Green Investment Principles has expanded rapidly, and we very much welcome new members from the APAC region to join these principles. To conclude, I would like to say that despite the lot of progress in the area of green finance over the past few years in China and in the rest of the world, our financial system is still far from adequate in meeting the vast demand for green and low-carbon investments. In China, given that President Xi Jinping has announced our country's carbon neutrality target, we will need to make greater efforts to further improve the standards, disclosure requirements, incentives, and products of our green financial system, and to make them more aligned with the goal of Paris Agreement. The green finance community in China is also looking forward to further collaboration with our international partners, including those from APAC region. Let me thank the organizer once again for inviting me to speak, and I wish the conference a great success. Thank you.